After the encounter at the Mages' College, Joe's name has become well known in Eternia. While the majority of his guild is ecstatic over the bonuses that he brings them, not everyone is pleased with his rising influence. In fact, someone has been spreading rumors that Joe is unbalanced, sacrificing comrades for personal power. As a result, Joe is forced to recruit a team of misfits and discovers their unique abilities complement his own. With their assistance, Joe moves forward with his plan to specialize into more powerful versions of his ritual class, but when the dust settles, he will be forced to ask himself a simple question. Was it his actions that lit the fires of war? Welcome to Storybound. Let's dive into Regicide, Book 2 of the Completionist Chronicles by Dakota Kraut. As always, we will have spoilers for the main story beats. Regicide starts roughly a week after the events of Book 1 and the fall of the Archmage, and Joe's guild has been tasked with the liberation of a city or town and building a guild base to extend the capital's influence in the war. Joe stinkily prepares some spells, scrolls, and learns some new abilities. However, after taking a shower, he realizes he has been falling behind and being avoided by his guild. Joe starts using class trainers and skill trainers to help beef up his pathetic stats. He also starts making his own team to quest with. He gets a monk who is a chiropractor in real life, an artificer archer who is quirky and awkward, and a player named Bard who uses singing as a form of tanking. He also meets A10's real-life friend, who is a duelist who joins the party later on in the story. They receive a hidden quest to gain a town's favor before the guild arrives, and they are sent on a series of quests, one of which was supposed to be impossible. However, his party casts a ritual and leaves it to do its work for 24 hours. When they return with the guild 24 hours later, the ritual completes the quest. Completing the uncompletable quest triggers an event that turns the city into a pop-up dungeon for the day, which becomes an event for the entire guild to engage with. I enjoy the banter between the members. The scenarios are pretty fun. However, some of the niche is wearing off on me a bit by this point of the story. Was definitely waiting for something to mix things up a bit. When Joe wakes up the next day as he was defeated in the dungeon when his cloak got destroyed, Joe attempts to speak with A10, but is only allowed to speak to his reporting officer, who starts using command abilities to dominate Joe. Joe warns her to stop, and she persists, causing him to leave the guild. His tantrum with the senior officer and leaving the guild had me a bit excited. I was curious to see where things went. However, he goes to town, cools off a bit, and swiftly teleports back to make amends. Joe rejoins the guild, and they plan to help Joe create a ritual tower, and upon doing so, he meets T-Snake, his real-life friend who got him to join the game in the first place. After they catch up, we get a pretty cool scene of the ritual throw-up carnival ride with RGB lights and all. After the tower is formed, we hear the Wolfmen are going to attack, which is a nice change, as I was starting to think this thread wouldn't occur until later books. At the last minute, Sir Barrington, the raid boss from the previous city, who actually continuously makes bear puns, which was actually pretty hilarious. Him showing up again, I laughed pretty hard. Joe is asked by A10 to come up with a trump card, and he decides now is the time to complete a quest in his log, which he thinks can assist. The quest requires him to enter a prison and follow a map to the 3rd floor when he finds a psychomancer sage, who they quickly avoid, as well as a shadow sage. After some training from the sage and the threat of internal imprisonment, he ends up tricking the sage into entrapping himself with a spell the sage does not know. For doing this, Joe gains knowledge to turn spells into rituals, and after getting out, we see the psychomancer has possessed one of the guards, which will probably pop up later on, as well as the hardcore guildmaster is still stuck in the prison as well, so probably see that thread play out maybe in book 3. Joe goes to court with the Queen. Joe is exonerated after she sees his entire character history. He talks to his mom and Daddy Blaz. He hooks her up with a job since she doesn't want to do much else than use the game as a life sim, and he teleports back to his guild at the tower. He makes use of his new abilities as backup begins to arrive at the town. They sleep in preparation for the war, and the Wolfman howls awaken them, and the Wolfmen begin their siege. The battle plays out, showing off everyone's new abilities and powers. However, the Wolfmen continue to push them all back. The king arrives and thrashes the Wolfmen and his old friend who leads them back into the woods. After the defeat of the Wolfmen, a bomb goes off, killing all of the men minus a few, as well as the king, while Joe hides in the guild hall from the blast. Joe proceeds to revive the king and reaps a massive reputation reward, and will later receive a true reward for restoring the king. After everyone respawns, they hunt down the remaining Wolfmen. An announcement plays saying Stage 1 of the game is now complete. The tutorial is over and the true game can start. The continents will be opening, 2 new races will become available, and new alliances will be formed. This book was fairly solid. I found quite a bit of the book felt very the same as the previous, with nothing particularly new, other than kind of the lit RPG gimmick, and it was feeling a bit worn out. As the book progressed towards the 3/4 mark, things definitely started to pick up quite a bit with the prison section, as well as the war arc. That being said, the groundwork that was laid out in this novel was pretty strong for the next book, so I am excited to dive in. Hopefully with the new races and the tutorial being over, things will get a little bit mixed up, and some new kind of dynamics, world politics, and environments will kind of pick up, instead of them kind of sticking around the hub city and some surrounding areas. Maybe some new terrains, alternate dimensions, cooler spells, kind of more wide-scale adventures instead of just general questing and the like. But yeah, this has been a review of Regicide by Dakota Kraut. I am currently in the process of reading a few books at the moment. Got Gideon of the Ninth going on my Audible at the moment. I'm also reading through a copy of The Wheel of Time, book 4, so hoping to get through that as well. And we're also going to be continuing over the next few weeks our dive into the manga world with One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as our kind of catch up with the Alloy of Law or Mistborn Era 2 series. Going to be digging into Shadows of Self, Bands of Mourning in the lead up to book 4. If you guys are interested in the Sanderson books, definitely interested in doing rereads of the majority of those, doing some videos there. May also dive into some lore videos as well. If you like this video, please toss me a like, subscribe, comment down below, let me know what books you would like to see coming up. So yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good one.